Think about some past disappointment you may have had. Perhaps you were looking forward to attending a special event with someone. In your anticipation of it, did you think, this is too good to be true? Something will probably happen to spoil it. Something probably did happen to create conflict or to cause you to miss it entirely. Man finds it relatively simple to disregard the promise of something good by thinking of all the reasons why he cannot achieve it. People around you may be quick to point out that you are being unrealistic when you mention a desire that appears difficult or impossible to reach. We should all be unrealistic in the face of the army of doubt if we would experience our wish fulfilled. If we are called upon to disregard the facts that would deny the achievement of our heart's desire, habit is the only thing that keeps our thoughts moving along the old familiar negative ruts. No one can change your thought patterns and therefore your life but you. It is worth all the effort it may take to center your attention and feel as if you already possess that which you want in place of things, as they are. Consciousness is the only cause and the only reality. Every negative experience was produced by first giving attention and feeling to that condition what consciousness has made. It can unmake. Your responsibility is to impress upon your mind with the change you wish to express. Your imagination is the creative power that can and will accomplish the end without effort and in a natural way. Appearances confirm our former habitual patterns of thought. That which you imagine yourself to be today will protect itself in your world tomorrow. Persistence in assuming that you are the person you wish to be, despite your present circumstances, is the only condition imposed upon you to embody that ideal. Inner conversations. All of us are mentally speaking within ourselves every waking moment. Our inner conversations must match the wish fulfilled if we would realize our desire. If our desire is for a better job and we imagine ourselves being congratulated because we are gainfully employed in a wonderful position, we must also make our inner conversations conform to that end. We must be certain that we are not saying within ourselves something like, that boss of mine doesn't believe in promoting people, or it would be difficult to find any job at my age. Never mind a better one. Or similar statements that would imply that we do not have that which we desire. We must persist in the feeling of our imaginal act by making our mental conversations conform to what we would say had we already realized our aim. If, for instance, we wish to own a new car, we could imagine a new car parked in our garage, or imagine ourselves driving it, or imagine our friends admiring it. We must then make our inner conversations reflect the type of conversations we would engage in were we really the owner of a new car. Our conversations could consist of discussing our new car with friends, such as telling them of the wonderful fuel mileage we are receiving, or hearing our friends tell us how much they enjoy riding in our new car, etc. Our inner conversations are just as creative as our deliberate imagining of the wish fulfilled. In fact, if they are of the opposite nature, they can negate what we have imagined. You must watch what you are seeing internally to make sure that these conversations coincide with your wish fulfilled. If you desire that these inner talks contradict what you would like to achieve, revise them so that they follow along the track that would indicate that you already have had what you desire or are already the person you wish to be. Revision. Your present world reflects the sum total of all that you believe to be true of yourself and others. That which you imagine yourself to be today goes forward and will confront you in the future. If you have forgotten your imaginal activities of the past, that which you see appearing in your world indicates the kind of seeds you have previously sown. Assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled is using your imagination creatively to bring into your world that which you desire to experience. You can use the art of revision to change the effects of prior thoughts and beliefs. If, for instance, you had gone to an interview for a job you truly wanted, but later learned that someone else was hired, you can revise that news to make it conform to what you wish you had heard. If you react by feeling depressed or assume any other negative attitude, you will then experience the same type of rejection in the future. Your reactions, whether positive or negative, are creative of future circumstances. In your imagination, you can hear words congratulating you on getting a wonderful new job. That imaginal act now goes forward and you will encounter this pleasant experience in the future. As you review your day, it is important to revise each negative reaction so that you can remember it as what you wished had happened rather than storing that memory as it did occur. What you think of it with feeling or emotion is an actual fact. That which you experience in the physical world is merely a shadow, reflecting the reality of your imaginal activity. Therefore, when you revise a conversation, an unhappy experience, or a quality about yourself, you are literally experiencing it in reality. The outer world is a delayed reflection of the inner and is confined to a dimension of space where events occur in a time sequence. Revision then literally changes the past. It replaces what occurred in the outer world with the revised revision. The revised scene that gives off its effect by going forth to change future events. Dwelling on past irritations or hurts perpetuates them and creates a vicious cycle that serves to confirm these negative emotions. The circle can be broken by starting now to revise anything that you no longer wish to sustain in your world. By revising the past, you rid yourself of any effect it may have on your future. Revision is truly the key, which can be used to unlock the doors that have kept you trapped in a particular state. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. State of consciousness. All states exist and are a fixed part of creation. Anyone can enter a state consciously or fall into a state inadvertently. You may move into different states throughout your lifetime, or you may occupy a single state. Desire is what usually motivates us to move from one state to a higher level. Since a state is total and complete in itself, when we enter a state, we are compelled to behave in a manner dictated by that state. For instance, in the state of poverty, we would find ourselves constantly in need of funds. We would have difficulty making ends meet and have no way to enjoy luxuries. Should we be given a large sum of money, if we remain in the state of poverty, filling our mind with thoughts of lack and limitation, we would soon find ourselves without funds and again experiencing the same difficulties. The reverse would be true if we occupied a state of wealth. When we are in a state, we see the only contents of that state and are compelled to act in accordance with all that state entails. While in a particular state, you believe certain things are true and would find it difficult to understand another point of view. In the state of poverty, it is easy to focus your thoughts on the problems of providing food, shelter, and clothing. When you succeed in moving out of this state, you no longer find it difficult to acquire these things. Most people attribute this change of fortune to a change in circumstances. However, unless you have moved from the state of poverty, no change in circumstances would be permanent. Rather, moving out of one state and into another in your imagination automatically creates a change in your outer world. The Bible has personified every type of state and calls these states by names known to us as Moses, Noah, Job, Peter, Andrew, and Jesus. Throughout our journey, we enter these states and experience all that they offer. The last state we will enter is the state of Jesus Christ. In this state, we become aware that we are God the Father and that we have symbolized as David, who personifies the sum total of all humanity. The journey begins with Adam, who fell asleep and dreamed the dream of life and then entered the myriad states to gain the experiences necessary before awakening. When you enter the state of Jesus, you know yourself to be God and your journey into this world of death is then complete. The play. As Shakespeare said, all the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and each man in his time plays many parts. This world, which seems so real, is as much as a dream as the dreams we encounter while asleep. Our waking dream seems so real because it has continuity, while our dreams at night appear to be random sequences, taking place in unfamiliar surroundings and situations. God is the dreamer, dreaming the play into existence, and God plays all the parts. Everyone who appears in your world is God playing that part for you, the author. No man comes unto me, Save, I call him. Each of us is writing his or her own script. If you are dissatisfied with the play, it is up to you to rewrite the script to make it conform to your idea of what the play should be. You cannot demand that the actors in your play change the character they are portraying. All changes must take place in the mind of the author. If there is someone in your world who is the source of annoyance or irritation to you, that person has no choice but to play the part called for in your script. There is nothing you can do on the outside to bring about changes in another. You can use the art of revision to change a line of dialogue to replace a certain character with another, and to write happy endings to the subplots of the play. When you begin to view this waking dream objectively, you will be able to verify that you have been the author of both the pleasant and unhappy acts in your play. You can radically change the play by using imagination creatively by assuming your wish fulfilled. You can change the script on a daily basis by revising the scene that did not please you. The character who disturbed you today will not do so tomorrow if you write the dialogue you wish to hear and alter that role in your imagination. When you awaken to know that you are God, the Father and author of this magnificent play, you will understand that each man in his time plays many parts. Your real purpose, God became you so completely that he forgot that he was God. In becoming man, God reached the limit of contraction and opacity. God totally forgets that he is God in order to become and animate his creation, man. God then goes through all of the experiences of knowing good and evil and even death, in confidence that man will eventually wake from this dream of life to once again know that he is God. There is only God in the universe, fragmenting himself as humanity, and God plays all the parts in this time-space dream. Your own wonderful human imagination is God in action. I am is Christ in you, and Christ is the power of God and the wisdom of God. God speaks to us through desire, urging us to reach higher and higher levels of awareness. Exercising his own wonderful human imagination to achieve these desires, man is actually experiencing God in action. Through faith in his imagination, man will eventually conclude that Christ is within him as his imagination. At the end of this fabulous journey or dream of life, man will awaken to remember that he is God, the Father, enhanced by the experiences he put himself through. When he forgot that he was God, man's sole purpose is to experience Scripture. Man's goal is to reach the state called Jesus Christ. Then he will know that he really is the Father, Jesus, and that his Son is Christ. All of humanity fused into one being. Man may have many goals in the meantime, to accumulate possessions, to become powerful, to become famous, or to express anything that he desires. Essentially, the hunger to know God will come upon him, and he will then have the experiences that are necessary to bring to his remembrance that he truly is God the Father. Case histories. The story concerns a woman who will be referred to as Mrs. A.B. She knew that imagination creates reality, and had taught this principle to her 3 children ages 12, 10, and 6. She had practiced this principle for years to obtain the things she desired. Although her husband had also heard this teaching, he had not put it into practice and actually was quite skeptical about results. One Sunday afternoon, this family went for a drive and came upon a new tract of homes for sale. As this was a lovely rural area, they stopped to look at the new models. They all loved the area, and the homes were large and beautiful with all sorts of modern amenities. On the way home, they talked about how wonderful it would be to own a new home in this tract. They already owned a home, however, they had borrowed money on it and had very little equity that could be derived from its sale. The husband said that although he would like to buy the home, it was not possible as they could not raise the money required for the down payment. Even if they sold their present home, the real estate agent's commission would equal the little equity they would realize. Mrs. A.B. told her husband that the only way they could obtain the down payment would be to sell their home on their own. thereby keeping the commission for themselves. The husband was very pessimistic about this but told his wife to go ahead and place an ad in the paper, although he knew it wouldn't do any good. He was sure that there was no chance of selling the house in this way. The wife placed a small ad in the newspaper advertising their house for sale. A few nights later, when the husband had gone to bed early, she and her children drove to the tract of their new homes. She felt that if she could walk through the new house and capture the feeling of actually living there, she would obtain her dream home. It was dark when they got there, but they found one of the houses unlocked. She and the three children walked through the house. The children decided on which bedroom each would occupy if they actually lived there. The mother instructed the children to actually sleep in the new house in their imagination that night, and she intended to do the same. For the next few days, they imagined living in their new home and taking walks in the wood that were adjacent to the tract. That same week, a man answered the ad in the paper. He did not seem very enthusiastic about buying the house, but returned later that day with his wife. He told Mrs. A.B. that they had decided to buy the house for the price she was asking. When Mrs. A.B. expressed concern as to how they would go about placing the home in escrow, he told her that he was a real estate agent and would go through the company he worked for. This family received the exact amount of money necessary for a down payment on their new home. The escrow was very short, and the family moved into their new home a month later. Mrs. A.B. knew that if she imagined herself sleeping in her new home, she would eventually sleep there in the flesh. Her children also learned how to obtain their heart's desire through the use of imagination.